January 2024 Monroe County Board of Education. And Ms. Freeman's going to do our pledge. A moment of silence, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2-8-2 Declaration of Conflict per Tennessee Code Annotated 49-2-202. The Board of Education members who have relatives, per the statute, relative means spouse, parent, parent-in-law, child, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, grandparent, grandchild, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, or any person who resides in the same household as you, employed by the system, are asked to raise your hand to identify yourself. You certify that the vote that you make tonight will be in the best interest of the school system, regardless of the effect that your vote may have upon the employee of your relative or relatives.
I do.
2-8-3, any public comment on the agenda items? 2-8-4, student recognition of Ms. Dara Wiseman, Telco Plains High School, four-time state champion in track. Director?
Okay, at this time, I'm going to read a summary to recognize Dara Wiseman, who is here with us tonight. There's actually a slideshow, I believe, that is playing or going to play. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, so there you go. If you would look up on one of the screens. Telco Plains High School junior Dara Wiseman is a four-time state track champion. Her freshman year, she won the 800-meter championship and the 3,200-meter championship. As a sophomore, Dara won the 800-meter and the 1,600-meter championships. In addition to her success in athletics, Dara is a winner in the classroom. Just this year, her schedule includes challenging courses, including STEM, Spanish 2, State Dual Credit American History, Dual Enrollment Statistics, Dual Enrollment Pre-Calculus, Dual Enrollment Composition, and Dual Enrollment Biology 2. Her cumulative grade point average is 4.0. Dara's family are parents Melissa and Chris Wiseman and sister Telco Plains High School freshman Mallory Wiseman. Dara's coaches and her dad and teachers Barry Carroll and Mitchell Witt. Attached are pictures from the state tournament in May, and we have those up on the slideshow at this time. So we do have a certificate tonight. If she would please come up and be recognized. Congratulations on those amazing accomplishments. Thank you to her family for the support that we've given.
Have we ever had any other four individual state championships by anybody in Monroe County?
Yeah.
We have?
The stuff girl won too, Sweetwater shot put in distance. Kind of stuff.
Keep this in our mind about this girl later on. We might. Good job.
We've got 2 more years first.
She's a junior.
Dara, I just, speaking out of turn here, we celebrate you, not just what you've done, what an amazing accomplishment you do academically. You're the finest sort of young lady, and we just celebrate you, not just for your running, but we celebrate that too, but for who you are. You're wonderful.
Amen. Anybody else? 2-8-5, approval of the consent and regular agenda. Call for motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second,
Chairman, a second.
discussion. I'd like to add one thing in here. Every month, I notice, and I think we gloss over it much too quick, it looked like there's somewhere around $4,000 donated to our school system, and this goes on every month into our system of our citizens of Monroe County. And I think that it needs to be recognized each month. I think it's over $4,000 this month, and every month that is. No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. 2.8.6, approval of February 2024 budget amendments. Call for a motion to approve. Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
2.8-7, approval of the minutes from the January 11, 2024 regular school board meeting. Motion to approve. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
2.8-8, approval of the following policies for first reading as recommended by the policy committee. 4.6031, weighted courses, update. 2.400, revenues, the new policy. 4.603, promotion and retention, update. 1.105, school board legislative involvement, update. 2.601, fundraising activities, update. 2.8051, debit card, credit card, and lines of credit. Motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman. I know I wasn't here for this policy meeting, but I want you to look here. We just keep on doing these policies and updating them. I don't know how much of it we follow. I'm not interested in voting, I'm not voting for anything else on policy till we master what we've got. So I'd ask for a roll call vote. That's just my opinion. Just like fundraising, for one example. It's been out of hand for 25 years, but
I understand what
Roll
you're,
call.
I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. But I think some of these are, that's required by the state, and TSB is just updating the policy we have to match, state. I think that is correct. Is that not correct, Mr. Director?
But it might be time that we kind of question the state every once in a while, who's setting this policy and handing all this down. But
I
I
agree
know
with
that's
that.
old school, and
I agree with
However
that.
you wanna do
I'm
it.
for questioning government anytime. All right, we're gonna have a roll call vote on that. Your motion?
I never made a
You
motion,
didn't make a motion?
no. I just asked for a roll call.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, you keep up, Mr. What you said. If you're not on the policy committee, you don't really receive this. I think it would certainly be in order, as we vote on these things, to have the policy committee give an explanation of what we're voting on.
I guess my point is that we don't follow policy. We do not follow policy. We just keep on adding all this junk. Yous can, I don't care, vote however you want to, but I'm done voting for it. Won't vote for it anymore.
I know that our book is about that thick, and when I first got on the board 4 or 5 years ago, I did attempt to read through that policy book, and you can't remember it all. You can't, as far as following all that, but I think what you said right there, Mr. Shootman, is correct. It's just an update. It's our policies being updated by what TSBA, they're the big dogs in the ring. That's just keeping us updated with what state policy says, state law.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I don't disagree with that. My point is, if you're not on the policy committee, you don't really have this. And you're asked to vote on this massive thing here, we don't really know what we're voting on. Does that
Correct.
make any sense?
Everybody, yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're just taking the recommendation of the policy committee. And the policies there, Sandra puts that out each and every month. So if you wanna look through that, it's hard reading. I'm gonna tell you that, it's hard reading.
Right, I think my point is, we are asked to vote on this without really, we said we're voting on this.
Without
this,
knowing.
Without really knowing what exactly it says. I just say, that it might be helpful if the policy committee would come to tell us, give us some explanation of exactly what each of these items are.
Rather than just reading through it right here, you're saying like a way to course updates, tell what's in that?
Yes, sir.
Get a little brief summary of that?
Yes, sir. That way
Okay.
we'll know what we're voting on. I understand exactly what Mr. Williams said. I'm just, that's a suggestion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody else on that? 2.8.9. Hallelujah, all in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. Mr. Richard Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Joe Cagle,
Yes.
Ms. Sharon Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Mark Ingram,
Yes.
Mr. Freddie Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. John Ridgel,
Yes.
Dr. Lon Shoopman. Yes. Mr. Don Weiss, yes. Mr. Dean Williams.
No.
Two point eight -9, the SHS deck project. Mr. Carroll, you want to say anything on that? We have Mr. Norwood here. You want to give us a brief synopsis of it, and if anybody has any questions of it?
Yeah, so,
You want to come up here, please?
so we've been working on this project probably for about a year now, and it's kind of taken off here in the last couple weeks. There's gonna be probably a heavy donation coming in from the community that's gonna fund part of this. As far as getting bids and stuff, that's hard to do with this particular project because so much labor is gonna be donated, so many materials are gonna be donated. So finding a universal bid to where you can put something on paper and give it to a company and say, hey, your bid on this was kind of hard to do. So that's kind of where we're at with it. This deck will benefit baseball and softball. It'll go along the right field fence of our baseball complex, and we'll have elevated viewing of both fields, and we'll be able to use it for fundraising for both programs over the next few years.
They got any questions on that? As far as the bids, that's all public money. This is individual, so there's
Yeah.
no bid price, not a government process.
Okay.
There's no
It
bids
won't cost the
required.
school anything,
Not gonna
so.
cost the school anything. And we might add, there's, in that outfield fence, stand area, and in conjunction with the baseball field, there's probably $140,000 or $50,000 that the citizens of Sweetwater area are donating to upgrade our facilities.
Right.
And you went through the proper procedure of getting Mr. Carroll to sign off on it and the director.
Yes.
Anybody got any questions on that?
So we're just approving. They were wanting our approval.
No, he was just coming along to tell us about it. We don't have to approve it because Mr. Carroll signed off on it and the director signed off on it and I signed off on it because it's all public money.
But we're voting on approval.
No, I don't think we have to approve it. Is that right? We don't have
So
to?
we're not voting or anything?
No, it's just for information on that.
It says approval.
You're correct, it does say that, but that was, talk with Mr. Carroll on that. He says that's just something that he took off the form, he can take that part off.
Okay, so it becomes property of the school system.
It
So
does.
that's a good thing. While we're on that, you've already made us aware they've already $150,000.
Somewhere in that area, I'm thinking it's pretty close.
That's Sweetwater Athletics. We've got a girl here at at Tellico. They've been wanting a track at Tellico High School. Do you remember what the cost of that was? I think they went through county commission, I don't know.
I don't
But
remember,
anyway.
I remember when they went through.
But anyway, 100,000 would help them. A track at Tellico would help them, if they're after, and they could probably use that at Sequoia. We need to be looking at kind of maybe throwing some money into our athletics to where we didn't have to ask for so much.
Well, that's,
I've probably not said that right, but
well, what you,
if
are
the
you
if the private citizens can throw in 150,000 at Sweetwater Athletics, it looks like we could put 100,000 in. it looks like if a track is an immediate need at Telco, we could do that. And I'm sure there's some immediate needs at Sequoia.
I don't disagree, there's some immediate needs, but there's some immediate needs that, there ain't nobody more athletic than I am. But there's some, I think, more immediate needs that trump that.
Okay, that's
And that's
fine.
the private citizen. I can't tell you the number of hundreds of thousands of dollars that the citizens, from building a football stadium, the bleachers, to everything else, that the citizens paid for, that the county didn't pay for.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is a taxpayer, I'm gonna forget about being on the school board, as a taxpayer in Monroe County, you know, I'd like to see us address some of these, you know, a pet project. Instead of building a roof, I mean, we're gonna have to do a roof, but you know, something like that for the city of Sweetwater, something good for Telco, and something good for Sequoia, you know. As a taxpayer, I'd like to see some of my money go that way, but that's just my opinion.
Thank you for that. We don't have to vote on that. 2-8-11. The board members' visit to the schools. Before we get into that, I want to give a little background. What'd I miss? Well, what? Oh, I'm sorry, there it is, marked out. She kicked me. 2-8-10, Philip Carroll Facility Update.
Earlier this week, I think Ms. Sanders emailed one of these, the update out to everybody. Everybody get a chance to look at that and go over it.
Do you have anything printed off on this? I had it on my phone, but you're all right, go ahead. I've got some notes anyway.
I guess I'll just ask if you had a chance to look over it, do you have any questions on what was on there or anything, or for me to stand up here and read all these items off? I mean, I can, but I didn't think there'd be a need, you know, in that, but.
Anybody, because I've got 2 or 3, I just want to give you all a chance where I don't think I'm crowding the meeting.
Well, I went through all those things that you talked about there, Philip, and I looked at them. And then I go back to the comprehensive maintenance plan that you gave us on this, and I know that you got some of these things in there and in that, but it says in here, where is it? Schedule maintenance. It talks about things that needs to be done, but I didn't see a whole lot where it said it was completed. And where's the one on the roof? Bleachers inspections, we got that. I want to get to where it says the in-floor resurfacing, HVAC, the HVAC, the boiler, here it is. The boiler inspection says yearly.
Yep.
I want to ask about the one we had last year at Sweetwater, where I was informed one day that we didn't have any heat out there.
Yep.
I called in, they said, we got heat. Well, I believe people, but I just got in my little truck and I went out there and it was 50-something degrees in that building, okay? So we got to checking, not only the boiler didn't work, the gas wasn't on. Then we got the gas turned on and we found out that parts of the boiler were not working.
Mm-hmm.
So it says here that that's gonna be done yearly.
Yep.
If that's done, why was that not discovered before, and the gas was not even turned on before, I think that was November or December?
That boiler runs year-round for the hot water, and the inspections are yearly. We're just going through the boiler inspections right now. Greg's going around with the boiler inspector now. That was, do you remember what time frame that was?
That was sometime in November, I'm thinking November, all I know it was
Yep.
cold.
So
Was it December?
December's when, yeah, so your inspection happens now, which is in January, February timeframe. So then the boiler continues to run, and it's periodically, we look at it periodically throughout the year just to make sure if everything's good. As you know, parts fail. It's 40, 50-year-old boiler, parts fail. So what happened, we had a controller that went bad, and I think I went through this, discussed all this last year, but the controller goes bad, we get the boiler company, they come out, they service it, that controller fails, we have it retuned, some other issues happen, we find out the flue pipe's bad, all these things, all of this starts snowballing all together at one time. And as a matter of fact, we just last month finally figured out and got everything finished on that boiler. So we've been working on it on and off throughout this whole year. So that's kind of where we were on it. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of explanation as far as, other than parts fail. It is inspected by the State of Tennessee Boiler Inspector. He does his primary inspection. It's not a detailed inspection as far as he comes in, make sure the stickers are on it, make sure gas valves are where they should be, safeties are where they should be and operating and things like that, and that's all he does. Outside of that, the actual boiler inspection, we pay for that through the boiler supply of Knoxville and have them to come out for that boiler and also for the boiler at Massville Middle School and also the two at Tellico Junior High. And since we have installed the HVAC in the gym now at Sweetwater, then it's less of an issue, and we're gonna maintain that boiler until we can bring it offline like we did Cocoa Creek, and like we're doing slowly for Tellico Junior High. So we shouldn't have that issue anymore.
Well, you know, when is it inspected? The boiler was surely supposed to have been on with the gas turned on, so we'd had heat.
Yeah, I'm not sure who-
November, but how in the world was the gas not turning? How
I'm
in the
not sure
world
who
did
told
it
you the gas was
Not find
off.
out until it was cold weather that the boiler was
Who,
broke down.
who told you the gas was off?
When I went out there, it wouldn't come on. The gas people came out there that morning.
Well, we had the gas people over checking gas pressure. So we've always had problems with gas pressure at that facility. When it gets real cold, for some reason, the city of Sweetwater cannot supply enough gas pressure. So that's been a constant issue that we've had at that boiler ever since I've been here. So the gas wasn't off, the gas is always on. So I'm not sure
I
who
don't
was
know.
telling
They
you it
came
was
out there
off.
and said the gas was not on. But anyway, I'm gonna take your word for it right there. I have another question over here, on the roof at Sweetwater. If I can find where it is. Playground
And
inspections.
that update you're looking at for that has not been updated this year.
This says, maintenance plan 21 through 25.
Yep.
What I'm looking at.
But what I'm saying is I've not given you the new copy yet where everything's been completed and what's been checked off yet.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word on that right here, but, I'm looking right here at the roof replacement, SHS, the original roof on the old building was 1995 with shingles. There's no mention of the roof on the round building. And, it says here that the roof was planned to be replaced in, 22-23.
Yep.
No mention of the round building. And, if that's inspected as it looks like it should be, how in the world did our roof get to the point, I'm guessing just duct taped and Band-Aided together for years with the wrong materials, it looks like. I'm an old roofing expert, so I can't hold my feet to the fire on that. But how in the world did it get to this state of disrepair where it's literally about to fall down?
Lack of
And you
maintenance.
said yourself that we're having to get an engineer or architect, one of the two in to
No,
study it?
Yeah, well, we got the architect's review to come in and help build the specs for the replacement for the new roof.
For the round building?
Yes.
How did it get to that state of disrepair if we're got a constant, ongoing preventive maintenance plan? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, your maintenance plan is only cleaning gutters, checking for your minor leaks. You can only repair so much. We've been replacing other roofs during that time period. We replaced the roofs on the two steep parts there on the shingles. And so that roof wasn't leaking as bad as it was when we did that project. That's why it wasn't on that, because that came out in 21. And that roof really didn't start leaking bad until, I think, 22, 23 timeframe. And then, or actually 22 timeframe. And then since then, we battled the leaks. And then last year, we was able to get up there and do some of our maintenance work to it and cover up some of the seams and got those leaks knocked down to a very minimum amount. Started the process, and I've been on this process. I can pull the paperwork. I don't have it in front of me, but I can give you the paperwork to where we started the process at about 22, looking into replacing that roof, trying to get some budgetary numbers in together to do that. Then I found out that from doing our other roofs that we do need an architectural stamp on that because we are tearing off that complete roof. And so that gets into a whole nother bag of worms when we start tearing off the complete project instead of just overlaying it or top coating it with something. So that's why we have an architect. We're also replacing the metal that goes around the round building, redoing the gutters because the gutters are sitting on top of the walls instead of on the outside of the walls on both sections. And we're also going to be looking at repairing or replacing the silver dome roof as well because it's now started leaking.
That's what I was looking at. I didn't understand quite how it, got to this state of disrepair because the roof's supposed to last, what, 25, 30 years?
And that roof's been there for
And
that
that,
much.
so it's been there that long, but I didn't see it in your,
Yep.
your roof replacement, and I
That's,
didn't see, and I thinking, this roof it's not gotten there overnight.
Nope.
And the leaks have been going on for years, and, inside that building, I know that factual.
One of our biggest headaches that we have right now across the county is roof leaks. Central office, Tellico High School, Sequoia High School, Royalvale, Royalvale's gym building, Royalvale's flat roof building, and I think there was one more, the CSH building. So all of those roofs will be in our budget for this coming budget season. You're looking at about $5 million just for those roofs. And actually, just to do a part of one section of Tellico High School and one section of Sequoia High School is $500,000 apiece. And we've got like 8 sections at Tellico or Sequoia that needs to be done, and 6 sections, I think, at Tellico that need to be done. And that's not including the Sweetwater's 100, 200 section on top of their building that will need to be replaced. And we need to start budgeting now for the West Wing section for it also to be replaced in about 10 years. So lack of funding is where we are. Lack of funding is what's gotten us here. I have $70,000 a year in my budget to do maintenance repairs on those roofs. It is now mid-February, and I have about $7,000 left out of a
You said
$70,000 budget.
You said 70,000 for me? Okay.
Yep.
That's a good figure. Well, let me ask you one last question on that. You're saying all these roofs need to be replaced?
Yep.
Was it ever in plan, or do you have it in plan to replace one this year, year after next, year after next year?
Yes.
And rather, if we do them all
I
at
had a-
one
I
time,
had
and
a-
boom, they're all gonna come do it
I have a
again.
10-year spreadsheet that I've been asking the board to approve every year that I do my budget, and every year I get told no.
But we
So-
don't replace them. We don't replace them.
So this is where we are. If you look at the spreadsheet that I gave you guys last year and the year before that, there's a 10-year plan on it. It's color-coded by the years. That corresponds to another spreadsheet that I have that's inside that same book that gives the pricing for each of that. And I took sections of Tellico, Sweetwater, and Sequoia and put $165,000 worth of replacement sections in that section every year. And so that was budgeted out. But again, a lack of funding, lack of resources, and this is where we are today.
Resources. Well, I was concerned about the mold in this round building right
Mr.
there.
Chairman.
And a collapse, but that was the questions I had. You have some
Could
questions?
I interrupt you a minute?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you was talking about that trump card a minute ago. I don't know how the rest of yous are, but I'm sick of tired of a Sweetwater roof holding up everything else we wanna do in the county. We can stand here, and I'm gonna be as professional as I can. We stand here and we listen to these spreadsheets. I'm not interested in spreadsheet. Madam Director, out of that list of the maintenance report that we got, how much of, because he's not my employee and I don't wanna micromanage, how much of that is completed? Just an estimate.
I do not have it in front of me.
Is the
Can you tell us?
Madisonville Intermediate, the grant that we got, is it completed? It was on that list, and we've got till August.
There's a deadline for it to be completed. It's on,
The lighting
track, correct?
project is completed.
So we're gonna get the grant.
The grant's done.
It's finished.
So we've got the money. Okay, that's completed, because we're operating off this 2021 and all that. So if we're gonna go back to the past, can we have Gail come up with what we've spent just on Sweetwater High School's roof in the last 25 years? Can you do that easy? I'd like to see that. But we cannot. We can sit here and listen to people tell us that because of funding, we've let our roofs rot down. It's not. You had a problem at the intermediate school. You had a problem down there at the primary school. I was part of that problem. We got hoodooed or whatever, and if he's listening or whatever, we got hoodooed on that project. We never cut a dime out of that project when we built those schools and put those roofs on them, but it got cut. So I've preached that we need a maintenance director and we need a custodian director. I'm going right back to the policy vote. I'm not voting to fund no more money on these projects till we get somebody that can come in and know how to do it. I mean, you know, as a business person, if you've got a roof falling in, you fix it. You fix it. We've got how much we got in the fund balance? I didn't see it this month.
7 or 8 million, I think.
$7 million. And we sat around with $7 million and let a roof fall in. I don't have much, I mean, the new fence at Sequoia, I don't know about, is it replaced?
Yep.
So it's all the way around, that's a project. See, none of this had on there whether it was completed or not, it was that spreadsheet we always look at. But now, Madam Director, there's gonna have to be some big money spent.
Well, you're about to get to look at it at
But-
these budget workshops.
But, just like this project here, it might be $1 million. Some people says it might be $500,000. But, you know, as for me, we're gonna have to go a new direction. I'm not
You know-
just going, as a taxpayer and as a board member, I'm not gonna keep throwing good money after bad money, and that's what we're doing.
And I find it funny that, that I stand here and I listen. And as you say, with all due respect, that you sit over there and that you continue to throw me under the bus and tell me that, number one, I don't know how to do my job and I'm not doing it correctly. Number two, that I don't, if I don't have funding to do what needs to be done, how can I do what needs to be done? So that's the question number one. So, you know, I mean, I'm just curious at that.
Okay, first of all, we're paying you about $70,000 or $80,000.
That's a negative. You're not.
Whatever it is, you know, I've said from the start, which it's her choice, be perfect custodians, but I still think we need somebody else over the maintenance. As far as construction, you've not brought no request in here yet for a roof at Sweetwater High School. If you'll bring it in here tonight, because I'm gonna tell you what I'm prepared to do. I'm prepared to give Sweetwater High School $1 million and give that school to Sweetwater City. Put them a new roof on there and give it to them. But, I mean, all these projects are not getting done. And if you can't take the criticism, that's fine.
I take the criticism.
That's fine. But
I don't have a problem
The
with
job is not getting done.
So what's not
Like
getting
it or
done?
not like it.
What's not getting done on that list? What's not getting done?
Well, you've let
What's-
the roof rot down over at Sweetwater High School. You've let it rot down.
Okay, how
We've
can I
stood
put,
back, huh?
how can I put a roof on when
Is
I
it
don't
in
have the
minutes where
funding?
he's ever come in here and asked us for, money to build the roof at Sweetwater High School? He's not even asked tonight.
Once a
And
year.
I'm not trying to get on you, Madam
don't-
Director,
excuse me.
not even asked for the
Excuse me,
money for
don't
the
talk
roof.
over each other. Let's keep it respectful. Don't
It's
talk over
respectful.
each other.
It's respectful. I'm not giving no more money till we've got somebody that knows how, it'd be just like me trying to do the roofs or something. But we've not even asked, either the director's not asked for the money to do Sweetwater, you've not asked for the money to do Sweetwater. Is it anywhere in the agenda tonight? We're not gonna do a thing about it. We're not gonna, I mean, that may be your fault, may be her fault, may be our fault. Have you got a request in there for the money for the roof?
No, that's in the budget. You plan for the projects unless you've got an absolute emergency. If you have an absolute emergency, I bring those to the board.
That's an emergency.
Otherwise, that building is, who's, Ms. Vineyard? Is the round building, is it leaking through anymore? Is it a constant threat now like it was? We took care of that problem.
Okay, so
We took
2
care of
weeks
that
ago
problem.
when it
Wait,
rained,
hold
you
up, wait a
did-
minute, I
you
was
moved your
talking.
ball games.
Wait, the chairman just said, don't talk over each other.
Okay, go ahead,
So if I've got the floor, then let me talk.
go ahead, you got it.
So then if Ms. Vineyard just said that we took care of that issue, so we did what we had to do to get to the budget season so that I could come and present a $5 to $7 million budget to the board and ask for all this funding. Not just for that roof, but all these other roofs that I've mentioned. So we did, as a maintenance department, with the funds that we had and the resources that we had to do what we had to do to make sure that everything was good. Any other issue? I'm glad you brought that up, because in the middle of the school year, we have an issue at Sweetwater High School where the floor structure is unsafe for the students. So what did we do? We brought that before the board and we took care of it. I asked for the funding, did I not? I asked for the funding and you guys approved the funding and we was able to get that project done. I had to suffer a lot of cuts in my normal budget and items that was on that spreadsheet that you don't like for me to do. that got all that done, cut that money out, so now other projects can't get done, worked with finance diligently to come up with the extra funding to put for that project, and now that project is well under the way. So I guess I'm a little confused, but
Well, you probably
You
are.
know.
I'm confusing you. Well, let me ask you, how much will it cost to put a new roof on Sweetwater High School?
what section? If it's the gym building,
Whichever one's rotted down that he's talked about for 15 minutes.
well, the gym building is not rotted down. It's structurally sound and there's no safety concerns there, and we've got the leak stop. Right now, our estimated report is roughly anywhere from $700,000 to $1 million. We're waiting on the bid documents to come in. I've got a company that's working on that. As soon as those bid documents come in, the plan is to put it out to bid by March and to ask for the funding and to be ready to start the project come as soon as school's out.
So you need the money pretty quick. Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we spend up to $750,000 on the roof that he's talking about at Sweetwater High School. That we also donate it, give it to Sweetwater City Schools, and that we grandfather, because this will be the big issue too if you've done your homework, we grandfather those employees in that work for Monroe County school system, because our benefits are better than Sweetwater City, that we grandfather them in as long as they're there.
I
And
think
that'll
that's,
solve that problem. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I think that's out of place right now. We're talking about,
It
that's
won't if I
that's
get
a
a
different,
second.
that's a different project, a different number. Right now, we're on
Mr.
our
Chairman?
maintenance update. That's a whole different
Mr.
topic.
Chairman?
If you wanna bring that up at a different time, on a
Mr.
different
Chairman?
motion, okay, but this is not the proper time.
I fail to agree with you. I've made the motion. When I don't get a second, then it's it's over. You need to give them time to make a second.
He's got a motion on the table. Anybody wanna second it? Motion fails for lack of a second.
So that's the end of it. I tried.
Okay, Mr. Carroll, you have anything else?
No, sir, I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and your
Thank you.
information. 2-8-11, board member visits to the schools with optional dates. I want to get a little background right here, and I want to thank the director. We had several discussions on this, and what we're trying to do here, my thoughts was, we're trying to be proactive to find out a lot of these things, because we've got to get down, in my opinion, we've got to get down, as Johnny Cash says, a little gravel in our gut and fire in our eyes and take care of some of our buildings. We're not getting no new buildings. We're not getting any, folks. We got to take care of what we are, and that's what I thought. It has no political motive attached to it whatsoever. I came to her last month, was it last month, Director? Last month, and said, this is what I would like to propose to the board, and she thought it was best that she talk with the principals first. That's correct. And she did, and then we had another discussion last week when we were done this schedule out right here, and the last thing I said was, I want to make sure I'm not out of my lane right here. If I am, you tell me, on these visits right here. So she's come up with some dates that we can go visit the schools, and what I want to propose to the board is, and I said it, if you can't go, fine. If you don't want to go, fine. If you're not interested, that's fine. I just think it's a good time to go show our principals that we are supporting them, because if I was a principal in school, come on, because there's things I'd like to tell you. Then we can have an idea of what the principal is, but in my opinion, that's their command. And I know, as being an assistant principal, I can tell you, Mel's little principal, she said, you walk this building every day, and you come back and tell me everything is wrong with this building. I walked that building every morning, all year, and we reported back to her, and she kept a list. And that's all I'm interested in, is just a list of what the principals want and they feel like they need in their command. And that's why I took to the director, and we came up with these dates, and to see if what the board feels like. If they want to go, schedule them. If you want to go to one of them, all of them, I want to go to them all. I want to know. How do I know what Coker or Roosevelt or Varnor has unless I can see it? And that's not an indication of anybody. It's just I want to know from my own knowledge. So as you look at this board, what you're feeling on visiting the schools, and here's the date she's come up with, you and the principal and Philip, is that correct, Madam Director? Okay, these are some dates that she had. I said, make it at your convenience. She's the one that has to work all these, and we'll see where we can go to these and when we can go to these.
Hey, Don, I've got a question about this. So what's our goal is to try to find stuff that Philip or the principals haven't seen, or, I guess I'm trying to figure out stuff that's not on his list to repair. Is that what we're looking for?
If I was principal, I'd want Philip to know, he's not in, I don't think he's in all these buildings every day,
Right,
okay? If that's your building, you ought to know
right.
what's wrong with your building. Now, we can go through and find out and support the principal. Hey, we're here to support you, not condemn you. You know what's wrong with your building. You know there's a window out here or a crack floor. You know what's wrong. Then we can go through and make out a list, and then there
Do
won't
they
be-
not already send him that?
Tomorrow, into business tomorrow, I'll get my list from the principals.
we're,
So they're already doing that?
That's right, correct. I asked that she have them make a list, so when we go, then we can see. It's what she's talking about. Then Philip can look at it, and we can look at it and say, man, we gotta maintain our buildings. We're not getting no more new buildings. And as he said, he's gotta have the money. He's gotta have the money to maintain our buildings. We don't have $70 million
I
to pay off
understand
the
that.
debt and to build $70 million worth of schools, so we gotta put some money into our budget to do this job. How do we do it if we don't know what we need?
But they're already sending him stuff, and he's supposed to
He's
be
sending it for our
repairing it.
benefit, is that not correct?
He does
So
that every year. We get a needs list every year.
every year, okay, and he gets it, we'll see it when we go.
So more or less, Mr. Chairman, you're wanting us to see this, where we might see the need to fund some of this.
Amen.
So if we're gonna go, we've got to be able to come up with that grid or whatever you're talking about, that we're gonna fund some of this.
Amen.
We wouldn't even do that tonight for a roof that we know that's capable of even falling in. I mean, and we can't.
I'm good to
we
fund the
can't
roof,
do-
but I'm not willing to hand it off to Sweetwater City without their approval of it.
That's a different topic, that's a different topic, let's stay on topic right here.
Well, this
Let's
is
stay
on topic.
Excuse me, sir, let's stay on topic. We're talking about these
Well,
dates right now.
We've been accused of not funding this. I'll make a motion that we fund $750,000, up to $750,000 to
We're
replace
on,
the roof
we're
at
on,
Sweetwater High
we're
School.
we're on visiting dates right now. Let's deal with this business, then if you wanna
I
move
agree
on with
with
that,
you,
we'll do
I
it.
agree with you visiting, but, and
Okay.
I'm gonna support it, but
As the
I just
board.
don't believe we're gonna fund it.
As the board looks at these, as the director has said right here, John said something about going to the schools. John, you have a choice which one you like to go to first. Sharon, put your 2 cents in. Mark?
Should we not get the county commissioners to come as well, since that's where we're gonna have to get our money?
We're gonna have to get our money. I'll let the director, you want to address that?
We will do whatever the board chooses to do. I will let you.
What do you want us to do, Mr. Chairman? Make a motion?
No, yes, are we gonna support this? Do we wanna go? I'm
I'll make a
putting it out
motion.
there for you
I'll
all.
make a motion that we visit the schools.
I'll second.
Okay,
Now discuss it.
any discussion on it? All in favor?
Wait a minute, there may be some discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to, I'll not be recognized. I think we need to clarify exactly why we're going to the schools. If it's just simply a fact-finding thing to try to go on the maintenance list, is that what you have in mind here?
I wanna know what's wrong with the buildings. He's gonna get them, I wanna see them. I hear this stuff all the time, this fence is broke, that wall's broke, this is done, that's done. For me, I like to see, Then we can hold people accountable or not, but it's not an indictment of anybody. I just wanna go see. I think the board member's job is to go out, if we gotta support this, what are we supporting? If we're gonna put money into it, what are we supporting? I wanna know. I go back to my Navy days, and I can still tell you the guy I went around, every month we ran around to departments, and every department had a list, and I'm sure John's probably done this too. We had a list, and he had a list that was turned into the guy. And we knew what needed to be done, and we done it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it seems to me that we're gonna be visiting our schools, which I have no problem with doing that. We certainly need to be going to offer support and education to our educators. You know, we need to be as concerned about the educational process and the kids in the school as about the buildings.
We do.
And I just don't think we need to just say, we're just coming to talk about buildings. If we're not going to just support our educators and try to get their input on how we can do a better job helping our kids, and I think we're going for the wrong purpose.
I think education is number one.
We
There's no
haven't heard
question
around
about
this
that.
table tonight.
Mr. Shute,
But we've got to take care of our buildings so we can fund this properly, so a proper education go on, because if you got a dilapidated building and the kids are going into a damp, whatever, dilapidated building, don't tell me they're gonna have as good an attitude as you go into a nice, clean building. I just would have to disagree with anybody that thinks that. I've been in these buildings.
That's not what I'm saying, Mr. Chairman. I'm saying that if the board is going to schools, our main concern, certainly I'm not saying buildings are not important. It's not important. I'm saying we need to be going to see what we can do to help educate our kids. That's what we're here for. And I know we have maintenance responsibilities and having good buildings, I get all of that. But to me, the kids come first, the educators come first. If the school board's gonna be going into the school system, they should be there to try to see what we can do to better educate our children.
Aren't we doing that every day? Aren't we doing that, doing a better job? I think our staff over there does a pretty daggone job, a good job of maintaining all these things. And it's not an intimidation of anybody, in my opinion. It's going out to just check and support. Now, and it can be the whole thing. I agree with you. It can be the whole thing. We're gonna support the educational process. The educational process includes the buildings.
and we have got to look after how we spend our money. Mr. Carroll, as far as all these roofs, what's the most immediate need in a roof right now? Which school?
Are you just asking for the ones that have the most leaks?
No, I'm asking for the one with the most immediate need.
Because if you're asking for the one that has the most leaks, it's this building.
But this is,
But we've put this building off for 7.5 years because we needed the schools to make sure that they were good. So we took our funding and diverted it from here to help pay for Monroe Middle, Massville Primary, Massville Intermediate, Monroe Elementary.
that we messed up on 20 years ago.
Sir?
That we messed up on 25 years ago.
I guess, yes.
That's fact. So this is the number one priority here.
But
What's the second
As
one?
far as leaks, now just leaks.
But as far as the structure,
I mean, no structure is unsafe. So let's just make sure we get that out there.
well,
No
if you're
structure.
gonna replace one roof right
Yeah.
now, which one would you wanna replace?
I would look seriously at asking for this building, and then I would look seriously for Tellico High School, Sweetwater High School, and Sweetwater. Because number one, Sweetwater, the patch that we did for Sweetwater is only gonna last for about another year, and then we'll need to repatch it again. Hopefully, we can buy some more time if we don't have funding. Both Tellico, Sweetwater, and Sequoia, both of those roofs that we're looking at are beyond the age limit of just remedial repairs. It needs to be a complete covering of those sections, and if we don't start biting those sections, like I've been asking, if we don't start taking chunks out of those sections, it's really gonna be a damaging effect to the taxpayers of Monroe County.
Okay, so if we're gonna go, you've got a motion and second to do these visits.
We do.
If we vote for this motion, then probably the most immediate thing we're gonna see in all these schools is $5 million to replace roofs. You need to think about that we're not just going for a tour.
We're going to
Right.
look at the buildings and support. It's a supporting visit. So we've got that down.
Not comfort them and say that we're gonna do
Amen.
it one of these days. We've got an immediate need on about $5 million. I don't believe this board's ready to do that,
Well,
but
We'll get to that down the road. Let's see.
Chairman, I have
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say, these meetings and coming out, I want to say for everybody, some of us have jobs. I will get out to the ones I can, but if I have a customer in my office and I can't leave, I know Richard would have to take vacation days, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days. So we will try to get out. We might not make the days that are here, but we would definitely like to get out to all the principals and stuff. I'm sure Freddie may not be able to get out due to his work or some of the others, but it's not that we don't care. We do care, and we do want to come out. And I know about Roosevelt roofs. I've been down there. I know about it. You know, I know about some of the other schools. But I just want you to know we all care, whether it's education, the roof, or athletics. And, you know, we want everybody's opinion. It might not be during this visit, we get it, but we will get it from you. So I just want to state that.
Amen. Well, that's why we had these optional dates, if you want to go or if you can go. If you can't go, that's fine. Here's some dates that we
You
had
got a
down.
motion in a second.
We have a motion and a second, we discussed it, and now we're trying to figure out where to go on the dates, if you can go.
They may vote it down.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call on visiting the schools. Mr. Richard Bettis,
No.
Ms. Joe Cagle,
Yes.
Ms. Sharon Freeman.
Yes, but I'm like Joe, I won't be able to make all of these because I
That'll
have
be
a
fine,
job.
the ones you can make. Mr. Mark Ingram,
Yes.
Mr. Freddie Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. John Ridgell,
Yes.
Dr. Lon Shootman,
Yes.
Don Weiss, yes. Mr. Dean Williams.
Yes.
Passes 8-1. So we will be visiting the schools. So that's passed. You look at these dates and let's see if we can get some people going when you can go. Here's Monday, March the 4th. Can anybody go Monday, March the 4th?
Are we going to all of them in one day or?
No,
just picking them out?
Director, you said you thought three
My s-
sections.
My suggestion was to do the Tellico area, which I think is 5 schools. Madisonville area would be 4, and then do Sweetwater and Vonore, which I think comes out to 3.
Yeah.
But that was just a suggestion. That would be 3 days.
Pick 3 of these days out.
I visit them all in one day frequently, but
are we pulling off?
Not
the
sure you
job
want to.
Do this,
Nobody.
off the regular job. Just Philip and Dr. Windsor.
She goes all to them all the time anyway, she said. I asked her to get these in, dates that she could go.
Right,
That would
but I
not
mean, it's
interfere
a
with her
whole,
schedule.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I made a motion to do this. And I know you've got good intentions. I know why Mr. Bettis voted the way he did. But we're really just, I wouldn't want to say wasting our time. We might just be spinning our wheels. I hope you know that. I mean, we voted this and passed it, but
Well, I don't think we'll be
you've got
wasting
good
it.
intentions. Most of us been in a lot of them, but I know what Mr. Bettis is saying. I just don't believe we've got enough. I just don't believe we've got enough to come up with the kind of money. See, we're just talking $5 million on the roofs. When you start in these schools, there's a lot of other problems besides the roofs.
Let's find out. And then we can make the
I
hard
kinda
decision
got a
down the
feeling
road.
tonight.
All right, we're to the points. Can anybody go March the 4th?
I might can.
I'll go.
Sure, when Dr. Windsor tell us 3 dates, 4 dates, whatever. We're gonna spend all night trying to, you can go on this day or that day.
Let's pick 3 days. If you can be there, you can be there.
I think so.
4th, 5th, 8th.
Ma'am,
4th, 5th, 8th.
4th, 5th, and 8th.
What about 11, 12, 13?
11th, 12th, 13th.
No,
I'm
I
good with
don't
that
care.
too.
That's good.
You just make the schedule
I'll,
up and send it.
I'll
That's
go
good.
to each of them.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Monday, Tuesday, Friday.
And send them to us, and
If you can go, you can go. If you can't, you can't.
That's a good idea, Mark.
I mean, there's 9 of us, now everything, it's gonna be impossible for all of us to agree on dates. Just let her make the schedule and who can go.
John, anything?
I'm good with that.
Sharon? Joe?
Yep.
Dr. Subin?
Yes.
Mark? I mean, big boy down
Let
there.
her, let her
Ready?
pick the dates and tell her where
Ready?
we're going.
Those 3 dates, she's gonna pick it and who can go, and she's gonna tell us where to go.
And we can say, well, I didn't wanna go that day.
I hope you do, Freddie. I hope you argue.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Now, I know me and Mr. Carroll may have got off on the wrong track right there. And I, you know, he knows how I feel, I know how he feels. But I still say, he can't get all this done. And he's not gonna get the funding. You're not gonna get the funding that what we're talking about. And either he needs to be maintenance director or full, you know, I just don't think, I think the custodian and the maintenance has got to be separate. Whoever it is, it has to be separate.
I thought we'd already did that.
We do have that separate.
So you've already, but he's
Yes.
over them both, right?
No, we have, Greg Smith is over the
So all
custodians.
you're doing is the maintenance now. You don't have to worry about,
Greg takes care of the custodians.
okay, you've already done that. Okay, I was out of order then on that, but I still say we need to do a roof or whatever he thinks is most, you know. But we're not doing nothing. We're gonna refer it to a budget meeting this spring, like we've done the last 2 years I've been on here. I don't know what they did before that, but we're gonna refer it to a budget in the spring, and we're still not gonna do anything, right?
I don't know, that's gonna be up to you guys.
Well, how long have you been asking for roofs, to work on these roofs and stuff?
Usually the roofs that we've replaced have been insurance related, and so we've had a storm come through for Vonum.
But other than a storm, have you,
We've done a lot
we-
of roof work.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
all
but
we
it's
do,
been,
I
but
think.
it's been under insurance, right?
Really, the majority of them, I mean, 99% of them's been under insurance.
Okay, I mean, I don't know, it's just, I'm beginning to wonder what
And I'm thankful for that we were able to use our insurance for that.
that's good, but I'm just beginning to wonder whether this body's what I need to fool with or not. I believe it goes a different direction. I just don't think a business person can sit on, it's not working for me. I'm gonna have to make up my mind here in a few days, but it's just not working. We've not accomplished nothing in 2 years that I've been on here, except maybe the director and got a few people raises and stuff, but we can't do anything else in the county without 1 or 2 things held over our head that it trumps us out doing anything else anymore.
Any other discussion on that? She's gonna give us the where we're going on those 3 dates, and we'll, pick and choose, whether we can or we can't. That's correct, Madam Director?
Correct. Visits here, or can I send you all to another county? Just kidding.
Send us to Rome County. All right, 2-8-12, Director of Schools Report.
As for our enrollment update for this month, the enrollment on 12/20 of 23 was 4,892, and as of 2/6/24, it was 4,899, so that is an increase of 7 students. Update on stockpile days, I know we all are anxious to hear that. We do have 1 day left that can be used for inclement weather. I will go ahead and inform you that I have already declared we will have no more inclement weather for the remainder of this school year. So we are finished with that.
Wrong.
Ready? I do not care what the caterpillar says. March 5th will be a remote learning day. This is also Super Tuesday Election Day, and some schools are used as a voting location. So since the state requires that districts have a plan in place for remote learning, this day will be used for that. Remote learning days are days where students work from home, either with their Chromebooks or work on teacher-provided work for our K-4 students. So for this particular remote learning day, teachers will be at school for lesson support, and we'll have another remote learning day on April 8th. And just a reminder, Joe, did you raise your hand? I thought did you have something? Okay. Just a reminder, Monroe Elementary School has board appreciation gifts for you back there, a box of cookies for each of you to take with you as you go. I see there are gifts also on the table. I will just say, Board Appreciation Week this week, I know or this month, was dwarfed, I guess, by snowpocalypse. So I know that did interfere, but I would just encourage you, talking about these school visits, kind of go along with what Dr. Shootman was saying. Good, bad, or indifferent with doing visits for maintenance. I would encourage you to get into our schools and see what's actually going on with no particular agenda in mind when you go. They put a lot of effort into what they prepare for School Board Appreciation Week. And I know myself, when I was an administrator, a lot of times we might receive one visit, we might receive none. So just pay particular attention to dates like that when you are invited, because they do want to see you in the buildings, and the kids get really excited when they see board members or they have an opportunity to have them in the building. They do a lot of very fun, creative things, and it's exciting to them. You all are local celebrities to those kids, whether you know it or not. So take advantage of that. And so I just encourage you to get into the schools anytime that you can, with no particular date. Just, make your presence known and support your teachers and your kids and these administrators, because they do a wonderful job every day, and it is a hard job. So, and thankless usually. So, thank you. That's it for me.
2-8-13,
Mr. Chairman, the director here reminded us that Tuesday the 5th is Election Day, and that's one of our visiting days. Do we need to change that?
that would be a good idea, because some of the voting
Change-
goes on in schools, don't they?
Right, a lot of them it does, and change it maybe to Thursday,
I just
Monday, Thursday, Friday, or is that a
took
problem?
that one off. Nope, that's good.
So you,
I don't know
what
about
about
Thursday. I'll
Monday,
have to check
Monday?
that date.
How about Monday, Friday, Monday? Monday, Friday, Monday, 4, 8, and 11.
That's fine with me.
Is that good with you?
I know these
Yes.
dates are available
I'm good with
for
it.
me.
4, 8, and 11? Okay.
Okay.
Any other business the board feels necessary to discharge its duties? I have a motion I want to put out on the board, just so we can have it on the agenda for our budget meetings. And I'm gonna put the motion out, and I'd like to have a second. We can discuss it. Remember, I know we've been here a long time. We beat the hair off the dog here some. But I want to make a motion, it came to my attention here about a year ago, that not all of our employees get to be on insurance from 62 to 65. And it seems to me that we take care of the folks that make a lot of money, but we're not taking care of the folks that are on insurance, on insurance that's making $20,000 and $30,000. So I'd like to make a motion and that we add everyone that's eligible on the same plan we do for the teachers, professional people, that they get the same opportunity for insurance at 62 to 65 if they so desire to retire at 65 and get that same insurance possibility. So I'd like to make a motion on that. We have a second. I'm sure we can't get it done. Got a second? Got a motion, and a second. Got any discussion on that?
Are you saying, are we going to do this, or do you want to explore this?
I want to right now put it out. We have I want to discuss it briefly, because I'm sure we can't get it done. But it seems to me that the insurance is taking care of the folks, and next year, the minimum wage is gonna be 50,000?
We have to do that over the next 3 years.
3 years? But the folks there that's making 50 to 100,000 bucks get their insurance, help them taking care of whatever system that is. I'm not sure, Shelley and Gail, what it is.
Well, who will it affect the most?
Hang on, let me turn this off right here. I thought I did. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, just put them on the same insurance plan.
Which employees?
That would be the ones that's not eligible for it right now. Would be support staff.
Staff.
Are you
Okay.
talking about
make a motion to discuss this
I
during
want
budget
to,
season?
I want to put this out there, discuss it a little bit, and I don't think we can get it done tonight. We can table it. I'd like to get it discussed just a little bit, because it just seems to me like these people that we gotta have them.
So you're talking,
And here we are, we're kicking them to the street at 62 and we're not taking care of the least of us.
Are you talking about everybody that's not educators?
I'm talking about all the support staff,
custodians, cooks.
Okay.
custodians and all. There's gotta be something we can help take care of these folks. I talked with one custodian last July, I think it was, and they indicated they'd like to retire at 62. Physically, they can't afford because of the insurance. And it seems to me like if we can supply, the top pay insurance, why can't we supply the low insurance? Just some discussion on that.
Will this be a lot of money?
I think your teachers, they have to meet certain guidelines,
There
3 or 4
is,
different.
I'm talking about the same
Same
guidelines.
type
Was it
guidelines.
20 years?
20-year employee or something?
I think you have to be 20 years. What's the guidelines?
They have to have 20 years of service with Monroe County. And then they can retire after that, and then their insurance will be paid until the age of 65 when they're eligible for Medicare.
You have a figure on what you think that'll cost?
For the first, just for the first year?
For just the first year, with 20 years of service for the support staff, and if we would start the minimum age at 62 until 65, so they would get it for 3 years if they retire at 62. There's 15 employees currently that would be eligible, and it'd be about $150,000
Each year, or for the,
for the first year.
And then it go up
That would
after
change
that.
depending
Now-
on how.
Goes up with your.
Something, I think that we have to consider in that, everyone's not gonna take it. That's the first thing. That's the ones that's eligible. They're not gonna take it. Another thing I think that we have to consider is that for every 10 that go on, there's probably 10 that come off at 65. There's probably more going off at 65, because at 65 they're dropped and they pick up Medicaid. So I think, not knowing the figures, Shelley will know a little more about that than I do, but I want to add that to us. Is there another way to say it? Do we need to vote on it tonight that we'll add that to
You
it?
got a motion in a second to do it,
We have. I have a motion second to do that.
but you're gonna read the motion. It's got to include the 20 years and
The
be in
same-
Monroe County.
Yes.
I
Right.
think we ought to look at it during budget.
Kick it on
Well,
down.
no, I mean, I think Dr. Windsor has even mentioned looking at it during budget time, during one of our meetings or workshops when we were talking about, looking at the pay scales and stuff. It was come up as an incentive, maybe on hiring too, that we might can offer this, but there was some things she was gonna look at. So, I mean, I've had employees ask me before, and we checked into it and it couldn't at that time. But if it's something that we can look into during budget season, I mean, however you wanna make your motion, I think we could discuss it then, and then they could have figures for, say, for the next 5 years, how much we would be spending out for the next year over the employees.
We spin it out, but, the other end,
Well-
you gotta balance that out too.
Because,
Those coming off and those coming on.
educators, the state pays some of theirs, this would be all local money,
Yeah.
so.
Sandra, can you
I don't
read the
know.
motion that I second? I wanna make sure what I second.
I'll do the best I can. Dawn made a motion to add everyone at age 65, at age 62 to 65 to insurance, and you seconded. And then you all go back, which is not part of the motion, and start talking about that it's retirees' insurance and that we need to set an age limit. So what you need to do really is amend your motion to where it includes all of that.
So I did not say, per what the professionals were getting, I didn't add that in to begin
Well,
with.
it's different.
Got to add the 20
It's-
years.
I'm talking about we make them the same standard as the 20 years and everybody that's on it now, the same standard.
The professionals, it's retirement eligible.
I
It
kinda
doesn't
like the
have
way
an
she
age limit
states
on it.
There's not a
Shelley-
20-year.
They have to have 20 years of service in Monroe County and be retirement eligible,
Mr. Chairman.
which would make them either be 55 or have 30 years of service in Monroe County.
Mr. Chairman, could we redo that motion, just withdraw it and let her or Sandra read off the motion that you're talking about where we know exactly
Read it
what we're doing.
correctly, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, that's what they're gonna go by.
Well, you need to
Are you
make the
voting it through,
motion.
or are you voting it for discussion during the budget
I'd like to see
workshop?
it voted in, and then when we get there, it may be voted out the next
Well,
time around. It
I'm
may be
so-
voted out if we can't.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this matter until our budget discussions.
I'll second that motion. Table.
So we have, the table the motion. Do I need to clarify the motion before we, get it tabled, Mr. Shootman?
No, so we're just, we only discuss tabling.
I know that, but do I
We're
need to
kicking it
clarify
down
my
the road.
motion
Roll call.
before we?
No, we're just voting to lay this entire matter on the table until we have a budget meeting.
Roll call on the, tabling.
Yes.
Mr. Bettis, Ms. Cagle,
Yes.
Ms. Freeman, Mr. Ingram,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yeah.
Mr. Ridgel,
Yes.
Mr. Shootman,
Yes.
Mr. Weiss, no. Mr. Williams? The tabling passed 7-2. So we'll discuss it. It'll be added to the discussions in our budget meetings. It'll be added to our discussions there. That'll all come up. Okay, hallelujah. Anything else on that? Any other things need to be discussed and board feels necessary to discharge its duties? 2-8-12, have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to know what we've accomplished tonight. I mean, have we passed anything?
I believe we brought up some touchy subjects.
Okay.
I think we brought up some touchy subjects because we're gonna have to make decisions on taking care of our people, taking care of our buildings. It's gonna, and that's some of the main reasons I think we wanted to bring, that's the ones I wanna bring. We gotta make some tough decisions between now and budget time. We're gonna have to spend some money. In the past, we've been budget neutral. That's why the county commission has voted us in with no problem. I don't think we've taken care of our buildings properly. As Mr. Carroll says, we've not given him enough money. I don't think we've taken care of our people. It was a big hope of mine that we would increase the coaches' pay. We did. Increase the teachers' pay. We did. This is another one of those steps of the thing that we gotta get down and dirty. And I think we've started that discussion tonight. So do I feel like we just, accomplished something? Yes, I do. Now then, are we gonna have to get out in the mud and fight? Maybe so. But we gotta
Chairman.
take care of our people, we gotta take care of our buildings.
Mr. Chairman, it would be adjourned.
A second.
You didn't let me say, it. Anybody got a second? Second, anybody, any discussion?
Can't discuss, just have to vote.
So moved, adjourned.